OPEC agreeing to cut output at their meeting today. We don't know exactly. They're saying 1 million barrels a day. That could change that number today and or tomorrow, because tomorrow the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, left-hand side of your screen, meets with Putin of Russia. Let's bring in, we have with us Walid Phares now. I've got a question about the price of oil and the relationship between President Trump and the Crown Prince and the Crown Prince and Putin. Who is the Crown Prince dancing to? Who is he listening to? Is it President Trump, who wants lower prices, or is it Vladimir Putin, who wants higher oil prices?
There is no doubt about it that Mohammed bin Salman, since he came to power, basically he came to power based on the assumption of a renewed Saudi-U.S. administration and Congress, if possible, relationship. So, yes, MBS basically has been coordinating with the Trump administration, but obviously he needs to have a relationship with other powers around the world, should it be the European Union or, of course, Russia and other forces, specifically that he has been under pressure, as you know, because of the Khashoggi case and by the U.S. Senate and Congress in general. So it is in the margin of his maneuver, but he strategically relates to the administration here.
Well, President Trump is sticking with the Crown Prince despite the Khashoggi episode. President Trump wants lower oil prices, not higher oil prices. So at the end of the day, you're telling me that essentially the Crown Prince will back up President Trump's desire for lower oil prices and not submit to Putin's demands for big oil price cuts, oil output cuts.
I have no doubt about it, that in depth he is coordinating, the Prince is coordinating with the White House and with the administration in general. So how to expect in terms of, oil price? I think he will go with the American demand. But he is showing that he can speak with the Russians, and he is showing this to other quarters in Washington who want to level a lot of pressure on the Prince because of the Khashoggi affair.
What do you make of the Senate's, the Senate met with the CIA director? Some senators came away saying, look, Mohammed bin Salman was really behind the murder, and they were going to try to take some action against him. Could that have any result?
Look, I agree with the senators that an investigation has to take place and go all the way to discover who actually gave the order. But what order? The original order may have been by the Prince to bring that individual, Mr. Khashoggi, to Saudi Arabia, not necessarily what many in the region, including in Turkey and Qatar, are claiming that he ordered the actual killing in the same scenario that occurred. But that is to the investigation to tell us about. What I'm worried about is that the fact that we are demanding punishment on Saudi policies and on U.S. policies regarding Yemen, regarding Qatar, regarding Iran, is a little bit beyond what we should do. We should conduct the investigation and then maintain our foreign policy with the Saudis, regionally speaking.
Got it. Well, the price of oil is now down over $2 a barrel. That's over 4%. We're back to $50 per barrel. I think the president has got what he wanted. OK, thanks very much for joining us, sir. It's always a pleasure, and we appreciate it. Thank you, sir. OK.
Thank you so much for having me.